go, legends. Welcome to another live stream. Let's do a little bit of technical analysis here on the price of Bitcoin. I almost wanted to say I hope you had a great weekend, and I realized no, it's Wednesday. I already did a live stream on Monday. So let's do a little bit of a recap based on the scenarios that I highlighted on Monday, which is an actual fact still in play. So scenarios, one of the scenarios that I spoke about on Monday actually played out to perfection. Let me just put the music softly here in the background. And another scenario got invalidated. So, guys, I don't know about you, but I am seeing a lot of bearishness inside of social media at the moment. I see all the thumbnails are bear market is here, bear market confirmed. Bear market confirmed. How on earth? I don't know how you tell people a bear market is confirmed if you still have a higher low. You have not taken this low. Guys, from a technical perspective, okay, and this is not me being biased and saying that we're definitely in a bear market. From a technical perspective, you have to take this low. You have to take this low to confirm a bear market, or to give a bear market a high probability. And then there's an interesting scenario that I would like to share with you today to say that, well, even if you do take this low, there's still a chance for price to go back up and claim the high. Still a chance, even if you take this low. Okay, so when people place thumbnails or do content telling their audiences that the bear market is confirmed, it's over. These are the thumbnails that I'm seeing. It's over. Bear market confirmed. Place your bets now. Shorting, exit all your altcoin positions. It's not over until it's over. Okay, and that's purely just from a technical perspective, guys. I mean, I saw yesterday on Andy's live stream as well. There was a very adamant person. I'm not sure if he's going to join this live stream. But for those of you that were in Andy's live stream yesterday, you know that there was a very adamant person that just kept on saying, it's the bear market in caps locks. It's the bear market. It's the bear market. Wake up. It's the bear market. How do you say such things if we still have higher highs and higher lows? Technically, we still have a higher low. If price was down here and we took the low, I would have said, okay, now let's consider some bear market tripping over my words, bear market sentiment, okay, where we're looking for lower, right? That's where you get in and you trade the third wave to the downside, because in essence what this becomes is a wave 1, you have a wave 2, you have a wave 3, 4, 5 to the downside, and you know, we can discuss how low that's going to even go. Right, so I just wanted to go live today and share with my audience, well, from a technical perspective, there's no reason yet to believe that we are inside of a bear market. Okay, because I heard the same song, we are in a bear market. We are in a bear market. And now I see the same song playing over again. We are in a bear market. And I'm not saying, guys, it's guaranteed that we're moving up. I'm just saying technically there's no reason to say that it's a bear market. This, for now, is a drop to the downside correcting this impulse. This was a drop to the downside correcting this impulse. So the technicals need to show me that it is confirmed that we are in a bear market. Pump correction, pump correction, pump correction. Can we get another pump here to the upside? There's so much fear. Fear and greed is an extreme fear for the last week already. Okay, it's just, and then I'm not going to mention any channels here on the name because on the channel because I don't want to throw people under the bus. But I do think I want to, one day, I want to make a reaction video. And I want to show you guys what I'm seeing on a daily basis. And I want to show you, well, I watched this one person yesterday, okay, where he just shared one Elliott wave scenario to the downside. I'm going to discuss that Elliott wave scenario that this person shared. Only one scenario to the downside. So you have an Elliott wave scenario Sorry guys, and I'm having a little bit of a rant over here because I am just shocked about what I see out there, and then they have thousands and thousands of people subscribe to their channels, okay? Way more than my channel. And I can't help but feel that these people are misleading their communities, because there is always on a daily basis, on the smaller time frame, on the macro time frame, there is always a bullish and a bearish case scenario. And if you can only find one scenario, and that's the one that you choose to share with your community, well, where's the flip side of the coin? Where's the flip side of that coin? There's always a flip side of the coin. So if you are sharing with your community, by the way, this is the one that I saw yesterday, that it's only down from here. It's only down, okay? It's only down from here. What if price stops and goes up? Then what do you tell your community? What then? Okay, I didn't see this coming. Right, so I mean, none of us get this perfect, guys. I try and do and provide technical analysis, and I always try and look for the bearish and bullish case scenarios. And I know that there's most probably been once or twice where I've told the Legends Pro community, I don't see a bearish case scenario. It has, like, I'm struggling, okay? And true as Bob, the price will go up, okay? So you do get those rare instances where you just don't see a way up, or you don't see a way down, right? It does happen where the planets basically align and you take that ultimate trading decision, right? But from a macro perspective, always a bullish and a bearish case scenario. So the first, let's now get into the technicals. So apologies about the long rant. I will go through the comments. Let me maybe say hi to the community right now. 23 likes. Yes, we can do better than that. I absolutely agree. Okay, guys, I know that everyone's bearish and the sentiment is absolutely down the toilet, or down the drain. Okay, but you know, the like button doesn't have to be bearish. Okay, like smash. Thank Nico, much appreciated. Sin Games, I always appreciate the mods here, because yesterday when I jumped onto Andy's live stream, say his name. I'm not going to say people's names. I'm not going to name and shame, guys. But maybe I will one day, you know. I thought about it. Someone gave me the idea the other day to say that, Dewald, you need to do a reaction video. You need to go and look at what other people are saying and then just share your thoughts about what they are saying as well. But, you know, then I'm not the type of person that like to throw people under the bus. Okay, but yeah, I do follow people that I even don't like to follow, just to see what they are telling their communities. Okay, and you know, obviously, if you watch a lot of crypto content, YouTube also recommends a lot of crypto content to you, even if you're not subscribed. So when I see these thumbnails of some of the people, and then yesterday I watched someone's live stream, and I was just like, how do you tell your community there's only one way, and it's down? Like, what if price reverses? Anyways, Stuffer1, welcome. Dewald the Maxi, yes, great to see you here. Rave, everyone with an open mouth and red background thumbnail gets blocked on my end. Oh gosh, guys, sometimes you need, I understand that from an influencer's perspective, you sometimes have to be a little bit clickbaity with your thumbnails to get new people curious enough to actually click to see your content. So I do sometimes do that. I'm not going to say I don't do that. I do clickbaity thumbnails sometimes. It's over, and then when I do the live stream, I'll actually show you why I think it's not over, for example. But I always share a bullish and a bearish case scenario and trading opportunities, because I always have a shorting plan and I always have a longing plan, because no one knows where the market is going to go to next. We trade probabilities. You have to have a plan to the upside and you have to have a plan to the downside, and when price reaches that plan, you execute on your plan. Okay, right. Nico, let's do this, legends. Okay, now, okay, I've had enough of a rant over here. Thanks for the live. Absolute pleasure, man. And welcome to the live stream. Okay, Peter, welcome. Right, guys, now let's get into the meat and potatoes. The reason why you joined, I've had a little bit of a ranting session, but, you know, I almost wanted to go live yesterday, and, you know, I just got busy. I was on Andy's live stream. It was a little bit hectic there, managing, moderating his channel, because, yeah, you know, when things are bearish, people need someone to blame. Okay, when things are bearish, the influencers gets blamed, Andy gets blamed, I get blamed. Okay, when things are great, it's the best live stream I've ever seen in my life. You know, it's the emotional roller coaster. I am very thick-skinned against it. I know Andy sometimes loses his marbles a little bit with people that share hate, but guys, it really does not bother me. Okay, because I know it comes with a job, right? When you're an influencer and you have a following and you have built a community, there will always be someone that hates your guts. Hopefully more people like you. Okay, that's the goal, right? Okay, now the first scenario that I want to discuss over here, did I save it in a folder? Just want to see. I've got a couple of scenarios over here. Local 1, 2, local WXY. Okay, we're going to go through, was it the diagonal? We're going to go through the diagonal. I hope I saved it. I really hope that I saved it. But anyways, if I didn't save it, it's very easy to draw it out. Maybe I did it on the Binance chart. Let's check it out. I actually think I did do it on the Coinbase chart. I am struggling for words here at the moment. Okay, cool. Let's do this. Let me see. Yes, I did it over here. So let's look at this structure on the Coinbase chart. Okay, Coinbase chart is known for being the best Elliott wave chart because it doesn't have those scam wicks to the up and to the downside. From a backtesting perspective, it works pretty well. So I'm going to go here to the 2-day chart. And I'm going to throw you with this scenario because I saw, I'm not going to mention any names. Maybe if you see what I'm talking about, you'll know who I'm talking about. Okay. I want to show you guys the doomsday scenario. It's this one over here. Okay. And I will zoom into the structure just now, but I first want to show you the entire structure. The doomsday scenario could potentially still be bullish. Okay. So one scenario is, and I mean, this is a scenario that's been trending on social media for very long. We formed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was the end of the bull market. 5 waves up. And then we created another high, and this is what confused a lot of people. Because if you're not familiar with Elliott wave theory, you don't know that a corrective structure can form a flat, which takes the high of the impulse. Okay? So theoretically, you know, you guys know that there's this talk about the 4-year cycle theory is broken. Well, if you look at this scenario, the 4-year cycle theory, if this is the high, was actually broken on the 19th of January this year already, which means that the bull market actually came to an end months ago already. And we have been inside of a correction since January this year. Okay, so now let's entertain the scenario. You have formed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside. So since January this year, all of this is a correction for this impulse. So there's no invalidations for this scenario, but I'm going to discuss the issues with this scenario as well, because each scenario always has an issue or two with it, and I give the scenarios that has the least amount of issues always the highest probability. Okay, so if the correction came to an end in Jan, okay, right here on the 19th of Jan, you can see the date there at the bottom. Hopefully, yes, you can. Okay, let me just put the music a little bit softer because I know there's going to be people complaining about the music. There we go. Then price has in actual fact formed a 3-wave A, a WXY in a B wave, because a B wave has to be a 3-wave structure. And now we are busy with a C wave to the downside. A, B takes the high and a C that takes the low. A, B, C, flat. You grab the liquidity above because people believed that we were ending the bull market, and you grab the liquidity below. It's a perfect reset of the market. Okay, that's what I love, flat structures. Right. So in this scenario, you then expect this wave to continue to the downside, to at least claim this pivot. Okay. And I see this is one of the scenarios that one of the people posted yesterday. And this is the only scenario that this person posted, is to say that this is going to happen. Price will not make a higher low and take the highs again. This is what is exactly going to happen. Well, it is a scenario. Okay. So my question is, what if price, I always ask myself, what if price goes back up? Then what? What other scenario did you think about? Did you really spend the time and the effort to analyze the structure properly? Because what if price turns around? Then what? Okay, and I'm going to discuss that scenario as well. But for the purposes of this scenario, okay, now this is where things becomes interesting. So basically what you are saying is that the bull market came to an end in January already. So it broke the 4-year cycle theory long ago. And people are maybe only now catching up to, oh shit, but maybe, the 4-year cycle theory is broken. We formed a flat in a 3-wave structure in a B wave, and price ideally now needs to take this low. And this is a scenario that could definitely play out, but you have to consider the fact that the 4-year cycle theory was broken in January already. This structure is a 3-wave structure and not an impulsive structure. Okay, and now we are just building up momentum until price starts slicing here to the downside. You really want to see, okay, and this is the one thing, I'm going to go into what's wrong with the structure in a moment. Let's go here onto the daily time frame. Okay. When do you go full bear mode, Dewald? Come here, because of once you take that low, okay, and I see a 3-wave corrective structure up. So if we take this low, okay, if we take the low and price moves up, very choppy, like overlapping, I cannot count, an impulsive structure, like what happened over there, I told everyone the probabilities are higher. Every time we moved up, the probabilities are higher, we're going to claim the low. We moved up, the probabilities are higher, we're going to claim the low. So once price takes this low, and it moves up in a 3-wave structure, and I'm struggling to count an impulse to the upside, there's a good chance that this becomes an epic shorting opportunity, and then you fall to the downside, and this is the wave you want to trade. Okay, that's where I will go full bear mode. It's based on the movement back to the upside once we've taken the low. Okay, that's my easy answer. Right, so in this scenario, let's zoom into this scenario, guys. This little C wave here to the downside. Because remember, this little C wave, okay, has to be an impulsive structure. It doesn't have a choice. It can be a nested 1-2s. It can be an ending diagonal. It can be multiple. It can be an impulse, a normal impulsive structure. But you really want to see it fall here to the downside. So at the moment, what we have is a 1 and a 2. That's your big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your big structure. Okay, you could see the red 1 and the red 3 and the red 4 that I have here. Okay, but after a 1 and a 2, you want price to fall. Okay, it didn't. It's still chopping. It's still chopping. So you have to now jump to the next conclusion that it's multiple 1-2s, because it's the only way you can get an impulsive structure. The diagonal has been invalidated. Okay, where we had the diagonal, do you guys remember? We had a diagonal over here. It got invalidated because we tapped the 1-to-1 extension. It's not allowed for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not allowed. So the diagonal out the window. Okay, so we can't consider a diagonal anymore. Ending diagonal. Now you have to consider the only bearish option that's left, which is actually the most scary bearish option, is multiple 1-2s. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then maybe this is another 1, 2, okay, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. But basically what you want to see is you want to see the mess here on top. You want to see a drop, okay, because this entire, remember guys, this entire structure can still come down after the drop, okay. What is concerning about the structure for me at the moment, okay, is that it's not falling. When you have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, you need to see that capitulation event, like what we saw over there, but bigger. needs to be way bigger, because this is only a wave 1. Your third waves are the biggest, aggressive. It's the one that scares the crap out of, it liquidates most probably 90% of traders, right? Then you want to see your 4 5 4 5 4 5. So I'm not saying it's going to play exactly out like this. I'm just drawing the structure so that you see that you need to start forming. You've got the 1 2. Okay, maybe that's another 1 2. Maybe this is another 1 2 that is forming here. But at some point you want to see the liquidation event to the downside. Okay, and then you form your 4 5 4 5 4 5. And then once you get your 4, once price slows down after the big volume in the middle, that is where you look for your longing opportunities back to the upside, and most probably not going to claim the high. It's going to form that 3-wave structure and continue momentum to the downside. Okay, so the concern that I have at the moment, if I go into the smaller time frames, is price is not falling. It's still chopping. Okay, so potentially I can't put even this little third wave over here, guys. It's just it needs to start falling. And when you have your 1 2 1 2, you want to see a 3. It needs to fall. It's like almost a straight line on the daily time frame, and it's chopping, which tells me, okay, well then now there's a higher probability that it's forming another 1 2. Okay, not take the high. 1 2, and then maybe after this 1 2 it will fall. Okay, but the more 1 2s builds up, the lower the probability for the scenario. It can't just 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, and every time it takes the low, you're like, okay, now this is it. No, this is it. This is it. That this is it might just not come, especially if you're building up a lot of 1 2s over here. After your second 1 2, maybe your third 1 2, you want price to start capitulating. Okay, and for the moment we have 1 2. Okay, or you can count this. Okay, I can actually count, guys. I can actually count that structure as a 5-wave structure. I went into the smaller time frames. You can count a 1 2 3 4 5. So I need to just maybe slightly redo this count. You have a 1 2 1 2. Okay, and now maybe your last 1 2, and after this 1 2, you want price to, it needs to fall. It really needs to fall with aggressive volume. So this is definitely a scenario that could play out. Okay, now let me discuss something interesting about the scenario. Let's go back here onto the daily time frame. Okay, I'm hammering on this scenario because I saw people discuss this scenario yesterday, and it's the only scenario that they have. The bull market, the bear market, the bull market has ended, and we are now in a bear market. Well, I beg to differ, because if this is the end of your bull market, it means that we have already been in the bear market for many months. Okay, and after an ABC flat, what do you expect after an ABC flat? Continuation back to the upside to go and take the high. So can you guys see that if the scenario is indeed the scenario, I am going to be extremely bullish over here. Extremely bullish. Even if we take the low, I'm going to be extremely bullish, because this could be your A, B flat, C. It's the end of the bear market, which actually started on the 9th of January already. So we've been in this bear market forever already, and usually bear markets last for 1 year. So maybe next year, Jan, okay, the bear market's over, and then we go into another bull market. And this is going to be epic, guys. If this scenario had to play out, it's going to be absolutely epic, because if you now zoom out onto the weekly time frame, okay, let me just clean this up. Now, this is where it gets interesting. You form a 1 because you have, whoops, wrong. You have a 1, 2, and what do you get after 2? I mean, that is going to be the best bull market that we've ever seen in our lives, because after a 1 and a 2 on the macro time frame, okay, you at least expect the 0.618 to be hit. So let's I just quickly want to work out targets, guys. So if your C wave, okay, I'm just working out the target for the C wave to the downside. I'm playing this scenario out in detail so you guys can see the work that I put in when I do my technical analysis. So most likely your C wave is going to find support in this zone between the 1.618 and the 2 extension. Very common C wave targets, especially in a flat structure. So if this is your ABC flat, that is where your C wave finds support inside of this consolidation area. Perfect alignment, I might say. Okay, then what you would like to see is you take a trend-based fib from the low to this high, to the low of number 2, wherever that's going to be. Let's just put it on the 2 extension, and then you expect at least a $208,000 third wave to the upside, and then for your fifth wave to complete at $244,000, and these are my minimum targets. Okay, because third waves can go to the 2.618 to 3.618. I'm just showing you guys the most common third wave target, and let me make this a little bit bigger, so make that the primary. Okay, so the good news about the scenario is that the bull market ended already, and we have been in a bear market for the last 9-10 months. Okay, so by next year, Feb, you expect this to come to an end, and then we are going to trade this little puppy to the upside. So that's some of the good news. Okay, so this scenario is not bad. It's not a bad scenario. It just means that we invalidated the 4-year cycle theory. The high is already in, and all of this is an ABC flat. And then you continue in a third wave. Okay, so that's the good news, that even if this potentially presents a phenomenal buying opportunity, okay, for this. Right, so now I'm going to just quickly go into some of the issues of this structure. Okay. No 25k, right? Because guys, you have to remember, because now I also see there's people calling for $25,000. Now, I don't know about you, but when you have a 5-wave structure to the upside, let me put this back on. Not this one, the doomsday scenario. When you have a 5-wave structure to the upside and you form an ABC, okay, usually, most often, okay, your flat finds support inside of your 4th wave consolidation. Okay, it can go to the 2nd wave, but that would be a really, really deep retracement. And the extension levels also doesn't make sense for your C wave to go that deep. So based on Elliott wave theory and extension levels, okay, this is an impulse, which is a wave 1. This is a correction, which is a wave 2. Which means you're still going to claim this high. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys get the deal. And this is a macro 5-wave structure to the upside. And this is awesome support. Right, so 25k, I don't know. Yes, 25k, definitely a possibility based on other scenarios. Okay, but it's too early to call for those scenarios yet. Right, so not all doom and gloom. Now, what I want to do is just go here onto the 12-hour time frame. I just want to show you guys some of the issues that I have with this structure. All of the issues are not invalidations, but it impacts probabilities. So I would rather look at a solution or a scenario that has less mistakes. Okay. First issue that I picked up with this structure is the A wave. Okay, if I look at this over here, that is my issue. That's one of the issues. It is very rare, okay, in a 3-wave or in a 3-wave structure to the upside for your first impulse to take the high already. It is far more common if price did this before taking the high, then it went down, and then it went up. You don't want this high to take that high. It's just a game of probabilities. So 90 or 95 out of 100 times you will see a flat structure. The first leg to the upside does not claim the high. Then it has the leg to the downside, and then it has the leg to the upside. So one of the issues that I don't like about this structure, especially because these are macro counts, guys, you know, and the higher the time frame, the more accurate the technical analysis becomes. So I would expect to see shit like this on the 5-minute time frame, but on the daily time frame, okay, you have an A wave that already took the high before the flat even completed to the upside. Okay, so that's one of the issues. Another issue is the WXY that I have over here. Time. Okay, so you have an A, B, C, and a W. Okay, then you have a complex corrective structure in a X, and then you have another A, B, C in a Y. And this is the only way that I can count this structure as a corrective structure. So if you count this as a WXY, this Y is extremely short in time compared to the W. So that's another issue. So if I take a time FIP and I measure how long did it take to form W from the bottom to the top, I place it on X, okay, and you can see that that high, I'm not sure if you guys can see, let me zoom in more, the high was made before the 0.382, which means that this is very short compared to this monstrosity over here. And usually you want to see a nice relationship between your W and your Y. You want to see a nice relationship, especially in time, and especially on the larger time frames. So time is never an invalidation, but it impacts probabilities. Okay, so there is two issues that I have picked up. It's very difficult to count the structure as a nice three-wave structure. It didn't meet the time requirement. A took the high of the impulse, and so there's some issues with the structure. Unfortunately, not invalidated, but I can tell everyone, well, if it does play out, I will be ready and I will be loading up. Okay, definitely, I will be loading up because this could be a massive opportunity in disguise. Right, so that is basically the scenario. And I just wanted to hammer on this scenario to say that it's not, legends, it's not the only scenario. Okay, now we have to think about, well, what if price, because you know, this is my work every morning, is that what if price does this? And if this is the only scenario, you know, can you imagine me coming here onto the live stream and saying, guys, this is it. That's your scenario. And every day I just talk about the scenario and I don't consider anything else. And then everyone is shorting like crazy people. Okay, everyone's just building shorts. Price turns around, stops us out, liquidates our positions, and then the bull market continues. I just can't do that. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to go back here onto the Binance chart. Let's go here onto the 1 hour time frame. Okay, and let's discuss. Okay, let's do 2 hour over here, and let's discuss, well, if it's not multiple 1-2s building here to the downside. Okay, if it's not multiple 1-2s and it's not going to fall, well, can it stop and can it turn around and claim the highs again, and we continue the bull market up until maybe Jan? Okay, and then maybe we can start talking about bear markets. Well, there is a scenario, and this is a scenario that I have been sharing for many weeks. I actually went back into my live streams. This is a scenario that I have been sharing. Okay, obviously as price plays out, you have to just slightly adjust the scenario. Okay, so the only bullish case scenario, maybe let me talk about the diagonal first. Let's talk about this ending diagonal. In this live stream, okay, can you guys see the mistakes? Okay, in this live stream, I told everyone I don't like the ending diagonal. And not because we tapped the invalidation only now. Before, when price was still here, okay, I told everyone I don't like this structure in an ending diagonal. I don't like it because it's a flat structure. And you're not allowed to have a flat inside of an ending diagonal. And this is where myself and Joan, I'm not sure if he's in the live stream, we had some discussions and debates to say that, I actually told him, well, if it plays out, if this had to play out, I would have then changed my tune to say that, okay, because there's theory out there that says it is allowed. And then there's Robert Prachter, the godfather of Elliott wave theory, that says it's not allowed. Like explicitly in the book, it says flat is not allowed in an ending diagonal. Done, period. And then there's material that says you can have a flat in a fourth wave, but only in the fourth wave. It's allowed. So I told Joan as well, it will be interesting to see if this actually does play out. Well, now the probabilities played out. Okay. Told everyone that I am not a big fan of this flat because of this. This retracement tapped a flat target. Okay. Because some of you might be confused. What do you mean by flat? So if I go into the smaller time frame and I look at this little structure here to the upside, okay, if I look at this, well, I actually went on to the larger time frame. Okay, yeah, here we go. Right, let's do this. This is an ABC, by the way. This is an A, it's a 3-wave B, and it's a beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave structure in a C wave. So it's a beautiful corrective structure, make no mistake. But that's where the mistake is for an ending diagonal. Okay, so if you take a fib from the low to the high, you drag it across, well, and I can even go and I switch on my 0.9 fib, which I think I deleted. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's very close to the 0.88. You can see the numbers are overlapping. In a A, B flat, it tapped a flat target. Your first flat target is the 0.9 fib. Your B tapped a flat target, the 0.9. And a flat, okay, is not allowed inside of an ending diagonal. So this was one of the concerns. We were all hoping that this ending diagonal is going to play out. Well, now it got invalidated. But fear not. Okay, so let's take this out the way. There is still another scenario. There is still another scenario where the low could potentially be in. Where, when there's max pain and we are in extreme fear, I have to sit in front of the chart and figure out, is there a chance for this to be the low zone? The low zone. Okay, let me just call it the low zone. Yes, there's definitely a chance that that could be the low, but even with one more dip to the downside, there's a chance that this zone could be the low zone and price turns around and claims that high again, and we continue the bull cycle to the upside. And that scenario is, do I have it on this one? Okay, let me switch this off. It's this one. Okay, let me go here to the 4 hour. And you guessed it, because I saw Andy spoke about it yesterday as well. And I also highlighted this scenario. I've been highlighting this scenario to the Legends Pro community forever. If you go back up, you guys will know, you will see that scenario there. But in the red box that I have is where you want price to find its feet. Okay, so in the scenario, you have basically formed a 3-wave A, a 3-wave B, and an A, B, C, okay, in a W, a 3-wave X, and an A, and this A, guys, can be counted as a 5-wave structure. You can see a 1, 2, 3, 4 extended 5th wave. Okay, so if I went onto the smaller time frame and I was like, okay, it looks like a 3-wave structure on the larger time frame, but if you take a little bit of effort and you're going to the smaller time frames, well, you can count a beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can count this as a 5-wave structure, which means that B does not have to create a flat. Okay, because usually if this is a 3-wave, B has to tap a flat target. Well, I can count 5 waves. So that eliminates that little problem that I saw. So inside of your Y wave, what you want to see inside of the Y wave, okay, from X, this little structure, what you want to see is an ABC. Okay, we got an A, a B, And this definitely looks like an impulse to the downside in a C wave to finish up your 5-wave structure in your C wave. So there is a chance that price finds its feet. You don't want the 1.618 to be tapped. Okay, it won't invalidate it, but it's very rare. Okay, once you start tapping the 1.618, I'm going to start considering that doomsday scenario that we just spoke about. Okay, but it's perfectly normal for price to still take the low again. You know, if it wants to go up in A, B, C, and it wants to take the low again, maybe it finds support here by the 1.382, $87,000, 420. This structure will still be intact. And you want price to not tap the 1.618, and then there's still a chance to claim that high. Okay, so it presents, you know, very interesting opportunities. So from a simplicity perspective, well, guys, I'm waiting for momentum to start shifting. Okay, so if I switch on my trends, okay, you guys can see I'm tracking the momentum like a crazy person down here. Okay, you have the bigger trend that I'm waiting and waiting and I'm waiting, and price is still very far away. So I also have this trend running. I also have this trend running, and you know, it becomes interesting longing opportunities. Okay, and obviously if price moves up here and it falls back down, that also becomes an interesting longing opportunity, but price has to get acceptance back above. The reason people liquidate their accounts is because they look at a scenario like I've shared just now, and they go and stack limit orders here at the bottom. Okay, and then price, you know, fills their positions, but it just waterfalls, keeps on waterfalling to the downside, and before you know it, you have no account left. That's not how you trade, guys. You need price to, if this is your area of interest, you need price to dip below and start trading back above. I would rather enter over here so I know where to put my stop loss, so that if I'm wrong, okay, I only lose that capital. Okay, so these scenarios and probabilities that I've now shared with everyone, okay, actually doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Depending on which hat you are wearing. Okay, from a day trading perspective, I just want price to go up and down so that I can trade. I can enter shorts, I can enter longs. Yeah, you're on the 15-minute, 1 hour time frame. It's my favorite time frame to trade. Okay, I can tell you now, yeah, on the 1 hour time frame, okay, a trading opportunity could be that price breaks my little trend. Okay, price breaks my trend. This becomes an area of interest. I know where to put my stop loss. This becomes TP areas, TP1, TP2, you TP yourself out of your position, or depending if you see strength, maybe you break this strength, you add to your position. So I can day trade the crap out of this structure without worrying about whether it's the bull market or the bear market. Okay, and so you need to decide, are you a day trader? Or do you just hold? Because if you're just holding, why are you here? Okay, or maybe you bought a bag of a couple of altcoins and you just want some confirmation whether the bull market is still going to continue. Well, then, you know, my answer is you're just going to have to keep on buying the dips. Okay, that's all you can do. If you're only a hodler, all you can do is keep on buying the dips, because we haven't had a proper altcoin season yet. Maybe it's not going to come. Maybe it will come. We don't know, right? No one has that crystal ball. What I do know is that dominance is showing a lot of weakness at the moment. Okay, just technically it's showing a lot of weakness. So if I go into the Bitcoin dominance chart, wow, it's taking forever to load. Let's load that up. Okay, let's go here onto the weekly time frame. Something very interesting I want to show you. Okay, so if I look at our previous alt season, okay, look at this on the weekly time frame. Yes, guys, remember to smash up that like button. That was a triple D line. Guys, sorry, I get so zoned into the charts that I forget to go through the comments, but I acknowledge you guys, and thanks for smashing up the like button. Also, thank you to everyone that's left comments on my previous live stream after the fact. I really appreciate it. Even if I don't always respond, I will always leave a little heart to tell you that I have read your comment. I acknowledge you. Okay. Screw you, Dewald. Pray we don't end like that. We need 40k, 20k to hold right now. The bad news all day. Okay, but I do appreciate the comments. Oh, I almost thought I saw Mark Dutch here as well. Joan, yes, Joan. Okay, yes, that can be wave C. Right. Joan and myself often have some Elliott wave conversations. He's an absolute master at Elliott wave counting. Okay, cool. So now, from a dominance perspective, BTC dominance. For those of you, I think most of the people here in the live stream know exactly what it is because retail's not here, guys. I mean, with extreme fear, there's no retail. Okay. I would actually say that we are smart money because the retail's not here. The stupid money that we need to take profits into, they're not here yet. Okay. But during the previous, okay, you guys can see we lost momentum. Okay. You just basic technical analysis. We lost the trend. We came back up for a retest. And then we had a party of our life. Okay. That was the previous altcoin season. We had an absolute blast. And now what I'm seeing is something similar. Okay. We've lost the trend. It came back for a retest. And now it looks like it wants to go to the downside. Guys, this is just, if I had to trade this chart, okay, you either enter at the retest. So, you know, and this is just how you play a short to the downside. You close high time frame candles below, so you enter, your stop goes above the high, and then you have your profit taking areas here to the downside. I would say your strongest area of support is around about that 50% mark. Also, you will then take your fib from the high, from the low to the high, and then, you know, you just basically TP1, you TP yourself out of your position, or you say, well, maybe we're going to claim the low, right? So it's just, it's showing weakness, okay? I know I went around the bush a long way, but it has lost trend. It has retested the trend. And now when I zoom in here onto the 12-hour time frame, well, it's also losing this momentum. Okay, it's losing this momentum. It's done the retest. It broke this trend, and now it looks like it just wants to fall. Okay, so maybe we're still going to get an altcoin season. Okay, because we all know that altcoin seasons don't last very long. They are extremely powerful to the upside. Okay, it's like a hailstorm. It's extremely powerful. It damages everything. It goes crazy, and then it's over. Okay, it's done. Right, so this crash, potential crash here to the downside could be very short-lived, but still powerful. And maybe not all altcoins are going to have a rally. Maybe it's only going to be selected altcoins. But I am seeing some weakness, okay? And I think with Bitcoin dropping to the downside and dominance also dropping, okay, that has protected some of the alts from not capitulating to the downside. So if Bitcoin makes that move here to the upside, okay, I can tell you now, if Bitcoin makes a move here to the upside and dominance keeps on chopping to the downside, you're going to see an absolute feast on altcoins. Because that's the perfect recipe. Bitcoin needs to turn around, dominance needs to keep on dropping, and then you have an absolute party for your favorite altcoin. Hopefully all of the altcoins, but we'll see. Okay, I just know that usually when dominance properly starts dropping, I mean, even the crappest of crap altcoin starts pumping. Okay. So from a simplicity perspective, you know, I want to leave the lower time frame analysis for the Legends Pro community, and I've already shared all of the scenarios with the Legends Pro community. In actual fact, I think, you know, if you did catch the 786 over there, you know, I am in that long, by the way. And if I get stopped out, well, you know, there's another longing opportunity here at the bottom, that 1.382. If we go up, this could be an ABC, so you could take the low again. Or it forms a 4 and a 5. That's where the retracement becomes interesting for a long. Okay, maybe it forms a little trend. You play the breakout. So price needs to show us the way. But yes, I am in a little bit of a long over here at the moment. There's a chance I could get stopped out, but I want to reserve Okay, guys, I know you might get frustrated, but I want to reserve the smaller time frame trades and analysis for the Legends Pro community. Okay, and if you want to join the Legends Pro community, links are always down in the description. There's the link for the Legends Pro community. Also, if you want to trade on Bluffin, you get 15% cash back only using the link down in the description. BTCC, you can trade commodities, gold, okay, and weeks for some scalping because you get insane discount on your trading fees, and you only get these deals by using these links down in the description. Okay, so I am purposefully, I know Andy likes to go into the smaller time frames, but I think, you know, myself and Andy take turns inside of the Legends Pro community. One day he provides analysis, one day I provide analysis, and today I provided some analysis, and I want to reserve that for them. And then, you know, maybe tomorrow or another day when I do go live and I didn't provide analysis, then I will go into the smaller time frames. But that is basically it. I must say, guys, this structure to the upside counts way better as a contracting diagonal. Okay, I'm sure you have seen this. Okay, it just counts way better as a contracting diagonal. Remember the problems that I told you guys. If this is, oops, if this is a B, C, and that's your W, and you have your X, and you have another A, B, C, okay, in a Y, right? It's very short in time, so there's a problem. But as a diagonal, it's beautiful. There's no problems. Okay, you basically have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Okay, it follows the rules of Elliott wave theory to perfection. Beautiful leading diagonal here to the upside. Yes, it can be an ending diagonal as well, but then you form an A, a B, and your C to the downside. Or, okay, it's a W, X, Y. Okay, but a three-wave structure to the downside. So for now, dare I say that I'm still bullish until the low gets taken. And there's always an Elliott wave scenario that will support a bullish and a bearish case scenario. So from a bearish perspective, let's go back here onto the 1 hour time frame. What you want to see from a bearish perspective, okay, you want to see this. Okay, so if you are bearish and you believe that we are in a bear market and we need to only look for shorts, right? You do not want price to claim the 7/8 this zone. Price needs to reject inside of this zone. So from a shorting perspective, this is where you look for shorts to get that waterfall to the downside. And make no mistake, I will also jump into a short if I do see weakness, if I can play an SFP, maybe from one of these levels. Okay, there could be some nice point of, I don't have it on here, this chart, a daily level, a point of control where I can get in with great risk management. Make no mistake that I will be looking for a shorting opportunity if I do see one. Okay. Because now you're basically forming another 1, 2 to the downside. Okay, you have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and at some point, guys, after a triple 1, 2, okay, it's a bit rare to see 4 1, 2s. It's very rare to see 4 1, 2s. Usually after a double 1, 2, you already get the explosion. Now it's stopped. And there's already a 5-wave structure here. So to capitulate from here is low probability already. Okay, because that might be another question on your mind, is to say that, well, what if price just falls from here? It would be very strange, not impossible, because the market is here to surprise us. But if you zoom into this little structure, you already formed a 5-wave move to the downside. It's, highly likely already done. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. It could be done. Or it could be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. But the structure is getting exhausted. So for price to just fall from here, It doesn't make sense. Technically it doesn't make sense. It needs to at least retrace to the 0.382 in a three-wave structure, and then I will say, okay, now there's a potential for it to waterfall. But to waterfall from here doesn't make sense for me, technically. Okay. Right. From a bullish case perspective, you're going to have to be patient. If you want confirmation, this high needs to be claimed. You then invalidate the 1112. Okay, this is where the bulls will get confirmation. What is that level? That level is $107,000. Let's just call it $107,500. Okay, the bulls need to, because then once you've claimed that little pivot, and you are speculating on that doomsday scenario here to the downside, okay, where price is just going to fall. I actually need to delete. I need to update this. Okay, but basically you have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And if it does that, you invalidate a continuation to the downside. Okay, or at least a capitulation to the downside. Then once you take this high from a macro perspective, it's very interesting to start looking for long positions. Maybe a 5-wave move up here. Okay, the retracement becomes very interesting. You load up, we continue. Something interesting that I also pointed out to the Legends Pro community is that often when price let's say this is the bottom. Okay, often once price falls to the bottom and it starts reversing back to the upside, it can create an absolute mess that doesn't make sense. Okay, and there's a perfect example. If I go back here to the previous, okay, if we go back here to this, can you guys see? Yeah, okay, when we made the low for this correction to the downside and we continued here to the upside, look at what happened here. Okay, let me just clean this chart up, switch off some of the scenarios. Look at this. Okay, let's zoom into the structure. What on earth is that? This was a reversal. Price made a low, almost took that low, and it just, from $74,000, we just absolutely rampaged to the upside. Okay, but look at this mess that it created first. Is it impulsive? Is it corrective? What the hell is going on here? But the first clue after this structure formed, the complete mess formed, I would have most probably only gotten in either here or here. Okay, let me show you why. Because there was a nice little trend that was forming, so I would have just applied my trading strategy. You get in, okay, or you wait for the retracement. Now the retracement was very interesting because you formed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3-wave structure to the downside. That is where you enter, and then the rest is history. We just continue to the upside. So there's still a way. So what I'm trying to highlight here is, guys, if you missed the lows, there's always another opportunity to get back in. Always. Okay, you don't have to have FOMO that, okay, but you need the price action to show you strength. And that was the first 5-wave move that we had to the upside that actually made sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3-wave corrective structure. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was bullish CVD building up against those pivots. Now that is an interesting longing opportunity. You could also play that breakout. Stop goes below the low. Stop goes below this low. If you played that break, you guys can see there's always another way to get in. You don't have to get harped on the idea I missed it, or trying to catch the bottom and then you liquidate your account. Okay, so on where price is at the moment, what I wanted to highlight is that there's still time to get in. Okay, I need to do it on this chart. There's still time to get in. Still time. Okay, you don't have to rush. Still time. Remember to smash up that like button. Okay, when it comes to Elliott waves, you don't have to believe it. You just have to respect it. Yes, exactly. Right, I know there's some volatility, guys. There's high impact news today, the rest of the week, so please trade careful. You know, the news could spark an absolute capitulation here to the downside, and then maybe we do get that doomsday scenario. It could also signal the end, okay? Because the only concerning thing about this structure, it's a small concern, it's nothing big, is that, okay, and I'm going to get to this. Look at this trend line that I have here. Can you guys see this red trend line that I have here? It would be nice for price to tap that trend line, okay? So there is a chance that this could be the low. There's a chance, because there's a 5-wave move up here, okay? But that could also be an A, and now you have a B, and now you go up for a C, and then it fails miserably, it's a fake out, and then it claims the trend. Okay, I will be ready, by the way. Okay, so there's a possibility for a 1-2-1-2. Okay, you have your third wave, this is 4, this is 5, it creates another 4 and another 5. Ideally, now that is, and you don't want price to capitulate. So from a safe perspective, you wait for price to do whatever it needs to do here, and it needs to get it back above this low. It needs to get back above. It needs to do whatever it needs to do, and it needs to get back above. Now that is an interesting trading opportunity. Not as long as price is below this low, not interested. Unless you have levels to the downside and you can, do your swing failure pattern strategy. Okay, catching bottoms and catching lows is not easy. It's for experienced traders, and you have to practice them. Okay, but there's also the count where this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. That's what I'm saying. The low is either in, or you have one more low. But I want to see the acceptance back above. I'm not interested in this because it could capitulate to the downside. Right, legends, that is basically my update for today. Okay, I have been here for exactly an hour and 5 minutes. And I think I said what I wanted to say today, because I had a lot of thoughts yesterday. I've taken you guys through the scenarios, the probabilities. There are many other Elliott wave scenarios as well, guys. Macro time frame analysis that I can share with you. There's some extreme bullish ones. Okay. And right. But this is basically what I wanted to discuss today. So I hope you have yourselves an amazing trading day. Until the next one. Cheers for now.